Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here with a layout share that is a day late, but that's not too bad considering all that has been going on. So, as you know, for the next several weeks, I'll be doing for the past several weeks and for the upcoming several weeks, I'll be doing the Mind the Scrap Summer Challenge, which is a competitive team event. And so we're all about getting points for our team by including certain elements on our layouts. So I have quite a few of those pages. And on the 1st of August, I started, which is this past week that I'm covering, I started the series that called Road Trip Down Memory Lane that will day by day recount some of the quirkier sites that we saw or side trips that we took, and hoping to use photos that I hadn't used before, and making it'll result in an album at the end of the month that kind of takes the trip day by day. And I haven't done that before. The trip was in 2016 for the month of August. So you'll see pages, all the pages here got points for the summer challenge at Mind the Scrap. But some of them are the road trip pages that have videos. So I'll try to distinguish between the two. I think this one that I'm starting out with does not have a video. It's called My Favorite Fish, and it was for a challenge where we had to use a stencil. And this is a stencil from Scrap-A-Sketch. And I just used various colors because I knew I was going to have kind of a mix of oddball colors in on the page. And I just absolutely love this page. I love the filter that was used. This is in my Prisma app on my phone, and I believe this filter is called Bubblegum. And you'll probably see it a lot on here. So that is a page that does not have a video. And let's see, what else can I tell you? I fussy cut some alligators. I used this butterfly. Most everything is from my Scrap Backwards kit, including these two tags, and this flower. Of course, there's a ladybug for Katie, and an alligator for Allie, and a bee for Barrett, and a baby squirrel for baby squirrel. And these were all photos taken in 2009 in our backyard pool that we had built at the beginning of the year, broke ground in January. This was from around that same time period. The kids, the older kids, started a lemonade stand, and they created a traffic jam down our little street because their grandfather, Allie's grandfather, Allie and Ava's grandfather, was mayor of the town, and 2 or 3 houses down from Nikki and James's house was the chief of police. So they kind of put the word out. So the entire police force and all of City Hall came over to buy lemonade from the kids. They made a killing. This was day 1 of the road trip, and I have a photo of the and hold on, just let me go back. I don't think that is one I did just for the challenge, and there is no video. This is day 1. There is a video for this. It's the first with the road trip kind of thumbnail, but I have a photo of what from my front seat passenger seat view. This was what the back of the car looked like Our little Prius was fully packed as we took off. And this was the Oconaluftee Visitor Center. Just the first of many bad selfies that you will see. And this is Tallulah Gorge, where one of the Flying Walendas crossed in 1970, like 8 years later, trying to cross a gorge that was not nearly as big as this one, he fell to his death. So not a happy ending to that story, but it kind of put this area on the map, although I'd never heard of it. I just kind of saw a sign on the side of the road that said, "See Tallulah Gorge, where one of the George Walenda crossed," and I I suggested to John, "Okay, here's our first ball of twine. We're gonna head out and check it out." So as you can tell, tags were a point getter on that week, and some stenciling. So there's a video for this one. It'll be, I think I'm labeling all of them with what day it is. So that's the start. And I've created a playlist, but I'm not sure it works like playlists are supposed to work. I've got some kind of setting that's preventing playlists from working properly, but you'll see what that thumbnail looks like, and you can check out all of those in the thumbnail if you want to catch up. This was one I just did for the challenge, and it's photos of a day out that my son and grandson took. It was my son's company that had the outing, and he took his son. And I thought stenciled gears would look kind of cool. That's another one that doesn't have a video. And I printed this, I filtered the photos, then I printed them on paper where it kind of bled. And I kind of like the effect, so I'm leaving it. I'm not printing on that paper anymore when I want accurate, sharp photos, but for this it was fine. Here is another one that I think does not have a video, that was done just for the challenge. It's a photo of Ava looking at her phone and Reese, and they're both kind of watching a television show. I shudder to think what it was, because they've been the downstairs TV has been showing some strange television. I'm going to kind of bend these. This all used a lot of stuff from my Scrap Backwards kit. And this is, this is also a Scrap-A-Sketch. These are Scrap-A-Sketch printables here, but this is a Scrap-A-Sketch sketch that I use. I don't have it here to show you, but, and this is day 2. This was, and you know what I need to do? And maybe I'll do this when I put it in the album on the page protectors, I need to do like, get just a set of numbers where I have all of the numbers 1 through 31, and put those on the page protectors, outside. So anyway, this was, as we left, we went through Georgia and into Tennessee, and spent the night in Tennessee. And as we left there, we drove into Kentucky, and we hit a little town called Berea, and it was just absolutely a beautiful little town. And there's an liberal arts college with a fascinating history, and I tell a little bit about it in my video, and there is a video on this one. This is day 3, where we hit the stadium in Cincinnati. And before the game, this was taken at the game, it's a photo of the game, and I reduced the opacity so that these photos would stand out a little bit better. And I used ephemera, or things I cut from the papers in a collection called Are We There Yet by Stephen Duncan. And Stephen is just an amazing, and that's where this title came from. But this actually is a Simple Stories. And I just thought they went together well, and I threw in a couple of tags from the same collection as this one, and this I think is also from there. But I'll be using, throughout this road trip, I'll be using lots of ephemera and other things from where Are We There Yet? This is a set of layered stickers, and this is a set of ephemera, and then I have bits and pieces of papers and so forth from Stephen. Let's see, this is my these are the sad leftovers of that collection. There are two collections in here. One is Cowboy Country, and I think that's what that one might be. But anyway, it's I hate getting to the end of those. I do have a full collection. I have to document a cruise next, because I do have a full collection of his cruising line, and I was able to grab hold of that. Anyway, this is, I like this page. It kind of shows us outside the zoo, Another Bad Selfie. And this is in the American Sign Museum, which I told Stephen kind of looks like a 3D version of a Stephen Duncan collection, because it's all nostalgic images from that you used to see on the side of the road or advertising restaurants when you were growing up. And sign technology has changed a lot. Just the science behind how you illuminate signs has changed quite a lot. And you get to learn all of that at the museum. You wonder why you no longer see signs like this. And it's kind of been replaced by some of these that almost look like big television screens. And so a lot of this nostalgia is missing from what we see today. And this was taken at the stadium just as we were headed over to the Pete Rose Museum. So I love this page. I just love this page. And I love that day. This is a page I did in about, 10 minutes. It kind of started with this rub-on. I wanted to use that. And I had this little photo of Ava. It's a terrible photo. The top of her head is cut off. But it's kind of a cute memory. She's wearing a shirt that has a photo of her dad holding her brother and sister, and the shirt was originally intended for her brother. It has all kinds of little like baseballs and basketballs, and I can see a football folded under. It was Barrett's shirt. It was handed down to her. So she's wearing a shirt with a picture of her dad and two kids that don't include her. And it's got all kinds of little patches that I sewed on that were for Barrett. But, and I, on my tags here, I write, bad photo, sweet memory. And I stenciled on some numbers and just added some colorful stuff. I love this page, but there's no video for it. So you just found out how it was made. This one was made on the day that Barrett signed up for the Army Reserves. And it was after a lot of agonizing research and decisions and pulling back decisions and making different decisions and so forth. And he landed on this, and it's totally his decision. After you kind of know that since middle school and even before that, he was one of the top-ranked football players in middle school. He's one of the top-ranked football players in the country, and he was just an outstanding player on a team that didn't do particularly well in high school. But he's small. his mom is tiny, and he's smaller than the average guy who wants to play college or certainly professional football. But it's kind of, it was where he thought he was headed, where all of us thought he was headed. So he had some offers from some schools that didn't interest him, and he wondered if it was worth getting beat up as much as he was going to not to kind of settle and not necessarily have the football career that he wanted. So he decided that since he doesn't really know what he wants to do, and he doesn't want to spend the money, work as hard as he would have to work to get the money to cover college right now, he thought, he'd go to basic training, kind of come out, get the GI Bill, and start, going to school and taking some of the basic courses, giving him a chance to make up his mind what he really wants to major in, and then going to a school, a larger school maybe. So he's leaning more kind of towards electrical engineering at the moment, but he's also interested in psychology. So go figure, maybe double major like his grandma was, because she couldn't decide. So anyway, I love this page. When his dad went into the Army, it meant that I got lots and lots and lots of letters. And so I had this 49 and Market paper. I think it's from their Vintage Artistry Everywhere collection, or Anywhere or Wherever collection. And I had these scraps from Mind the Scrap kits. And I just kind of went with that and embellished with colors that I kind of picked up from this photo. I didn't have a photo of him signing up because he went on his own. And I had this lying around in my stash forever: dream, discover, and explore. And I put it over a tag that already comes pre-printed with a bee. And I put bees on all of his pages. So there is a video for this one, but I just wanted to talk about it anyway. No, there is not a video. Okay, so I'm glad I did talk about it. And here is one that there is a video. I forget what day we're up to now, maybe day 4. I need to mark this down. I've got to put all those off in a separate stack. But this one, the background paper was sort of pink, and I kind of scuffed it up and splattered it and took a cut file and inked it up. I inked tags, I inked everything on here. I die cut these gears, and this was for Mixed Media Mayhem, which had a recipe for a cut file, gears, and I don't know, maybe inking, possibly, because there's a lot of it on here. And I used scrap paper, and this is Vicky Boutin. There are a few Vicky Boutin things. These are just tags that were in my stash. This was 49 and Market. The cut file came from a Mind the Scrap kit. This is a quote from Henry Wadsworth that was on, it was the branding strip on an Authentique paper from like 12 years ago. But I had fun doing this page, and it kind of picked up. This was a kind of a miscellaneous on the road sort of a thing. We did our laundry in Batesville, Indiana. We then drove to Toledo, Illinois, and went under and through my first ever wooden bridge. We stopped in Highland, Illinois, to take a picture of John next to this road sign that says John. It's John Road or John Street. And we saw a sign that said Blue Springs Cafe, home of Mile High Pie. So, of course, we had to go try a Mile High Pie, and we left like several feet of it behind. And then we passed by the turnoff to Edwardsville and Collinsville, which John lived in Collinsville, and he went to school in Edwardsville at SIUE. And so we didn't go there. We were trying to get into St. Louis before dark. But this was a lot of fun to do. Oh, stenciling. And this was a Tim Holtz stencil that had a lot of travel words. I think it's called Travel Words. So there is a video on this one because it's one of the road trip series. Then here is James. Someone took this great picture of James Barrett, and then I forget his name, but he was the coach for this alpha conditioning class that's at our gym. And James takes the class. He took Barrett. He said, if you want to get a taste of what basic training is going to be like, let's try this. So I did some oxide ink on black foundations paper to get that effect, and I love it. And of course I used my tags, and you can see this is the outside of one of the gears in the last page. And I've used this sheet of paper, I think I used it on a page today. But, and everything here came from Mind the Scrap kits. And I don't think there's a video. Oh, there's not even a label on that one, so I have to put that one aside. That hasn't been counted in my totals, so I'm just gonna put it right there on the floor. Okay, this is one that I don't think I have. Well, I do have a video for it. Just a little, oh, yes, because this was for Stamp It Like It's Hot, which is a monthly video series. And I stamped with the the holder for the little foam things. I did those stamps, and then I went back and did with the foam. I applied with the foam so it would give sort of a shadow to my bubbles. And I had this photo of Ava blowing bubbles, but you can't see any bubbles, so I had to draw them on the page. And I cleaned off my stencil, and this is what came onto the paper. It kind of looks like wood grain, or even in some lights it looks metallic. But I love this page. The blues on here kind of match her little dress there, including that blue tag and this blue flower, which I never thought I would use. So, and then there's this one. I love this paper, and I love this page. I used texture paste. I rubbed it over to kind of tone down the color of that. I used some stamps, washi tape there. I've had this wood. It's actual wood. It's not like wood veneer. It's actually a little piece of wood, plywood, and it's stamped with "Wish You Were Here." And this was another bit of that cut file, and all I did was put a photo behind it and then mounted it and left the rest of it loose. And then I tacked it down with this butterfly here and with these leaves here. So I have a couple little tiny tags. And I used a stencil that came with the July Mind the Scrap kit. And I had, I did it with oxide ink at first, and then I went back over it and applied texture paste with my fingers on top of here and here and here and down here. So it's very textural, in addition to the colors and the texture that's there from all that was already on the pattern paper. And you know it hurt my feelings not to use this side of the paper. But is there a video for that? No, there's no video for that. Because I had several layers here. I was letting things dry, I guess. Here's the August 5th. This is day 5 where we made it to St. Louis. And this was running around St. Louis in the daytime before the game that was at night. And we got these little fedoras at the gate. And we had an extra because John was not going to take his baseball cap off. So we gave it to this little guy right here. And I took the picture from behind because I didn't, want to worry about getting permission to ever scrap it and put it out on the interweb. So I used, this is a, let me see, I do have a video for this. This is a Scrap-A-Sketch sketch, and I used really vivid paper that kind of picked up on it was inspired by the blues in the sky here on my filtered photos. And again, I love this page. That album, when I thumb through it at the end of the month, is going to be, I'm going to love it. I don't know if you all will, but I will. This is a Scrap Squad Sunday. Their original had a circle of cardstock and it had some hexagons. So the hexagons were big and almost filled the circle. So I have 4 hexagons that were made from some scraps. And I just kind of ran the pictures kind of randomly down the page. We have a Need Chocolate, St. John's Finding Chocolate again. And I kind of like this hat. The video explains that we ended up, after this, getting the dipping dots at every stadium so we could get those hats to bring back and give to the kids. And so this was at the Kansas City Royals game. And of course I have a little red Bramble Fox car there. But again, I like the page, and I love this map paper from Where To Next by Vicki Boutin. And this may be one of my favorite pages in this whole mess, although there are a couple more towards the end. This was a photo taken on August 8th of 1991, where we were celebrating our 10th anniversary by going out on a sale. We planned to have champagne with our lunch, so we hired a captain. So we had it was like a chartered sail. It was our boat, or the boat that we leased, but we hired a captain to come along and take us out. We were going to be going further out into the Gulf of Mexico than we usually did. We usually sailed from Clear Lake out into Galveston Bay and back, and we were usually doing that in the afternoons after work, so we didn't want to be out too late. But it's one of our happiest photos, and it was a happy, wonderful day, and I did it for the Mind the Scrap Summer Challenge, and I don't think there's a video. No video. This is day 6, and it's on the road between Kansas City and Denver, and we passed this beautiful farm in Tecumseh, Kansas. We found one of those cool signposts in Flagler, Colorado. This was as we were entering Colorado there. And right underneath this sign was this concrete driveway or parking lot. And I thought it was such interesting texture. I took a photo of it and then blew it up to 12 by 12. And then I brought, all of this is digital. Those photos are printed on the page right on top of this. This was, as we were entering Denver, this was the Denver skyline. And then this is John relaxing in the room at the Kempton Hotel Monaco, where we stayed for a couple days. So that was a road trip day. This was a fun page that I did for the, let's see, what was that? Is that for something else? Oh, Scrap Backwards video. This was supposed to be for Scrap Backwards, and I will say that this torn map was from my Scrap Backwards kit, and this star and the sun and the Here Comes the Sun, but the rest of it I pulled in. This is a torn piece from the Where to Next, or Are We There Yet? There are two collections with question marks at the end, and this came from there too. This I pulled, this is from a Paige Evans collection, and this is from Redefined Creative, and I pulled those out of my collection of stars. And I had these states I collected a while back, and there's also from the Are We There Yet? So there was not a lot from my Mind the Scrap kit. It didn't really make a dent. So later in the day, I pulled out a whole bunch of stuff. All this stuff came from my Mind the Scrap kit, including this little guy from one of the sticker sheets. And this background paper had so much going on, and I wanted to bring in red. It was all red. It was very monochromatic. I wanted to, bring in the red, but I also wanted to introduce pink and aqua, because pink, aqua, and white are the Mind the Scrap colors, and we got bonus points for that this week. So I tore this string of stamps together because it had the red and the pink, and then this kind of tealy dark green, teal sunglasses, and a red hibiscus there. So, and we needed a song title, so I always feel like somebody's watching me, and this is kind of a sheepish grin, like she's been caught doing something wrong. Love this page. I love it, love it, love it. And oh my gosh, I love this page. I'm very happy with these pages because the memories are just so special. This was a great day. It's What a Beautiful Day, which is a great song by a guy named Chris Cagle. And I'm not a huge country music fan, but this particular song has lyrics that just, pull you in. And so you can take a listen to What a Beautiful Day by Chris Cagle. And there's a video out on YouTube. I think I actually, I put the link in the description box for the video where I make this page. So this panel of photos were all from the zoo. We met with my best friend from elementary through high school and college, Robbie, and then Carol, who John and I both worked with at Exxon, and she is retired to this area, and she's a docent at the Denver Zoo. So she kind of took us on a behind the scenes tour. We got to see lots of things. This was just an amazing high wire act. And then there was this mama gorilla there. And so then we went to the baseball park, and we're at Coors Field taking a bad selfie, and John found more chocolate skewers this time. And then this was kind of a view of through the stadium at sunset, and the filter didn't really pick up the sunset very well. Did some stamping that wasn't done very well. When we got home, we had berries, chocolates, and champagne in our room. So just because this was our anniversary. That was our 35th wedding anniversary. And because it was the 8th yesterday, I did this little extra page. I always scrap there are about 3 photos of the 2 of us from the wedding. I liked this one because of all the colors on the wedding cake. You could believe that that's my wedding cake. I wasn't scrapbooking then, so I had no outlet for over embellishing on scrapbook pages, so I over embellished my wedding cake. And she said, well, what color do you want to use? And I said, all of them, all the colors. And they did, and this was a bakery that were very proud. It's like a gourmet bakery, and so their icing wasn't that hard sugary icing that holds its shape into these fanciful leaves and flower petals, rose petals and things. It was a more buttery kind of icing. So the flowers were a little less precise and more and the colors were so bright and beautiful. It was just the most different looking cake you could imagine. So I filtered it with 2 different filters. I loved this one because it looks like little gumballs on the cake, and I like this. And of course I'm dressed in traditional purple, and I had to use all the colors in my and this was the song. Close to You was by the Carpenters, was the song that was played as we walked out. The wedding was done by a justice of the peace at our house, or at my house. John hadn't moved in yet. And we just had some family and friends. It was like an office party almost there, but we had a really colorful cake. So thank you for watching. I have done 2 more pages, a double page spread that's out, but I don't think it's, I don't think the video's live as of this filming, so I didn't include those pages. They'll start off my next share. As for spending, I haven't spent anything, I don't think. I have gotten some Bramble Fox. I subscribed to Bramble Fox, and I think I saw somebody delivering what looked like a pizza box. So I may have gotten my August Mind the Scrap kit, but I haven't bought anything. So yay me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.